Oh boy, today is going to be a doozy. It is going to be a doozy. But we have to make sure that we're logged in first. Okay, yep, we're in. Okay, welcome everybody to the stream. My name is Glenn. I am not going to waste any more time here. Today we're going to be playing some merge tactics. And yes, I know a lot of you are going to be returning viewers. Thank you very much if you're returning. If you're new here, oh my goodness, you picked the day. You picked a day to watch some merge tactics because I have some stories to tell. Uh, the reason I didn't stream last night is because I was away. And, uh, actually, I need to check something before I actually get started here. Uh, oh. Oh wait, that's me. it said it said send a it said send a message. Okay. All right. Let me write something into here. Okay. Okay. All right. So, yes, I have a few things to tell. We'll wait for Nightbot. Okay, Nightbot's here. Hello to Michael on YouTube. How's it going? Hey, 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 hey. Hello to Kevin Neal. Welcome back. Yes. Um, my goodness. Let's just get right into it, man. Okay. So, as many of you know, if you're returning, if you're new here, welcome in. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for checking out the stream and the video. The reason I didn't stream yesterday was because I went to a singles event in LA and I had talked about going to this event for quite some time. And let me tell you, it was an experience, and I will share my thoughts in the end of how I thought the night went overall. Um, Now the goal is if I can get it all done in the next hour and 15 minutes because there was a lot. There was quite a lot. In my mind, there was a lot that happened. Um, and I'm going to try to process all of it and share my thoughts with you. You all might have some kind of like opinions about, whether stuff was right, stuff was wrong, kind of my takes on everything may be different than uh than oh wait, hold on here. I might as well just get Goblin Machine now. Okay, yeah, let's just get Goblin Machine. Yeah. So my takes on what happened uh might be different than what you think, just based on how I, share the story. So that I'm just putting that out there right now. Oh my gosh, this Valkyrie is gonna be nuts. Are you pushing for a merch badge with a number on it? I don't. I'm gonna decide. I'm gonna decide on Saturday because I'm going to a tournament, but it's starting in the afternoon, so that's gonna give me some time to like rando play a few games, and then from there I'll say, oh okay, I'll probably okay, hold on here. Yeah, and from there I'll decide whether I'm gonna do it. So yeah, when did you hit diamond? I think it was over the weekend. Yeah. Any chance we get the whole story tonight? If I don't tell the whole story by 9:15, I will give. What number did I put? I don't even remember what number I put. Two gifted. And the thing is, next week or in 2 weeks, I'll be able to give 10 gifted out. But I will give 2 gifted out tonight if I don't tell the story in the next 1 hour and 10 minutes. So buckle up. It starts now. So I talked about this event for quite a while. I said that. Oh wait, okay. I said that this is a type of event where um, it's a singles event, and the here's the format. Okay, happy ending or sad ending? I need to prepare emotionally. I'm just gonna tell the story. Okay, all right, just sit back and enjoy the ride here. Okay, so if you were here a few days ago, what I mentioned was that when I signed up, there was a survey that the organizers asked me to fill out ahead of the event. And I talked about the questions here. I shared what I uh, wrote in the survey. Not a problem. Um, that was not an issue. So at the same time, uh, the organizers also wanted a picture of me so that they could share with, or actually, they can use that as a means to pair me up with somebody, with any lady that was also going to the event. They got to fix this. So that being said, I did all that. You all know this. We talked about it on stream the other day. Okay, now you have to keep that in mind as I go through the rest. Ooh, we got right. You have to keep that in mind as we go through the rest here. Okay, so let's see. Where should I? I'll begin by going to the venue. I've been to the venue before. It was the same one as the first event that I entered. And what happened when I got there was the lead moderator welcomed me in, and she said, "You're Glenn," and I said, "Yes, I am," which means that she knew me based off of the video and the picture that was provided by me. Totally fine, not a problem. And so, oh, okay. Before we continue, I should also mention this. One of the things, actually, I think I mentioned this when I first signed up, and I brought this up to everybody here. One of the things that the moderators wrote down when you bought your ticket was that they said, this is an event for people, it's a level 2 event. And what that meant was it was going to be an enhanced version of the level 1. Totally fine. What they said, and they wrote it in the description when you bought your ticket. They said, it is recommended that you attend a level 1 event first so you know what to expect. Now, that is important. Now, that is very important for what I'm gonna talk about throughout the rest of this. I have to mention that. So keep that in mind. They said it's very recommended that you attend a level. I'm just going to use this here. A level 1 event before attending this one, so you know what to expect at the on a generic level, not the exact point by point. Hello to Spooky Killer. Hello to Liam on YouTube. How's it going? Okay, so get to the venue, and the moderator says, "Oh, you're Glenn." I said, "Yes, I am. Thank you." And I go in, and I immediately just have to pee, and there's 6 people. There's 6 people waiting because there's one bathroom in the venue. Totally fine. But what I noticed when I was waiting in line was that there were a lot of people I recognized before, and I said, "Oh, okay, so I'm not in a unfamiliar spot." Wait, who am I? Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, let's do it. I'm not in an unfamiliar spot. I recognize people who I've seen in the past 2 events. Totally fine. Remember that. Okay, this is going to be important for later on. And so get in, take a leak, and then I just start kind of walking around the venue, just kind of scoping out, just seeing I guess who's there. And I had talked about, remember that remember that woman named Marie? I was just not waiting at the door hoping that she would be there, but I was thinking oh my goodness, if she's there, I need to immediately like talk to her. Like I need to immediately just like say, "Hi, remember me?" Not remember me, but "Hi, my name is Glenn. We talked at the last." That's how I would. That's how I would approach it. But at the same time, I also knew that I had to, just kind of get relaxed and talk to other people at the venue, just so I felt more at ease, which was key. I mean, that was key. Because what the moderator mentioned as we all walked in, okay, what the moderator mentioned was she kept saying, okay, you can put your stuff away. Just know that we have about, what the fuck? Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on here. Okay, no goblin. Oh, it's giant. Oh, okay. All right, fine. Just know that we have about 30 minutes before the event actually starts. So go ahead, feel free to get some drinks and talk to some of the other participants. Just kind of say hello. That's important too. Now, as I was walking around, there was a guy that I had seen before, and we had talked, just kind of like sharing ideas, sharing thoughts and ideas about what to do in dating. And this guy, I think his name is actually Guy. If I'm trying to remember, I think his name is actually Guy. For the purposes of the story, I'll just call him Guy. So here what the fuck? Oh, okay. All right, Goblin. Dart. Okay. Well, all right. Let me do this. Okay. No. Man, I have to spend the elixir. Jeez. All right. So what happened was I said, "Hey, Guy, my name is Glenn. I talked to you the first man." He's like, "Yeah, I remember you." And I'm like, "So have you done the level 2?" And I said, "No, I've not done the level 2." Or wait, I think he asked me, "Yeah, did you do the level?" Or one of us asked each other, "Do we do the level 2?" I said no, and I was totally fine with that. Okay, so did everybody figure out a counter with this? Okay. And what happened? Well, I mean, what happened was he had been on, like, I guess he's on the dating circuit, or if you want to call it that, the dating circuit. But really, it's more about it's more about him just going out and doing different events. And so I asked him, like, what other things are out there? And he said, "Oh, there's this app that I use that helps me, go meet people." And he told me what it is. This is not a sponsored app. It's not a sponsored thing, and we're not at this point right here. Okay. This is not sponsored, but he gave me an app. Actually, I'll just keep it to myself. But unless people ask in chat, if you all ask in chat, I'll mention it. But I don't want this to feel like it's a sponsored thing. So. He gave me the app, and I downloaded it. I'm like, "Oh, this is pretty cool," because he gave me the concept. The concept is every Wednesday it'll pair you with, in my case, it'd be 3 women and 2 guys, and you can just meet up, have drinks, and shoot the shit. That's basically it. And you don't know who. Oh, come on, man. All right, and you don't know who. You just show up at the event, and here's 5 other people, and good luck. And it's been hailed as a success. So I downloaded it. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to keep this in mind." I'm still holding out hope that Marie would actually show up. And then, hello to David. What's the sponsored app? There's no sponsored app. There's no sponsored app. There's no sponsored. This is not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Okay. And so, right before it started, I was like, I at least needed to, like, just talk to a random woman. And then I just looked, whatever the first woman was, I was just going to say hello. And it ended up being, I think, a really older lady. I think if I were to guess, she's probably in her 50s. And I just said, I'm nervous. Are you nervous? And she's like, yep, I am very nervous. And I said, but the thing is, here's the thing. I recognized her too at the previous event. I said, you went to the previous one. And she's like, yeah. I was like, how did it go for you? And she said, it was okay. I didn't make any connections. I said, oh, well, yeah, me neither. I wish I did. I thought I did, but fate didn't align. That's basically what I said. Fate didn't align, and yeah, they didn't work. And in reality, I mean, not in reality, but right as I was done talking to her, I realized that was the only lady I talked to, and that's important for this. Okay, so what? Oh, come on! All right, I'm curious if everybody countered this. So, oh, excuse me. All right, so before I get to the meat, because the event is about to start, let me catch up on chat here. Okay, I've used all my lists here. All right, what are your ideal first round cards, goblins? What comp did you use to reach diamond, goblin? The goblin strat. So, hello to Benjo on YouTube. How's it going? I'm glad I made it to diamond. Hey, congratulations, man. Welcome to the club. All right. Do you have a little crush on Marie? Hell yes. I have no problem mentioning that. Yeah. If Marie is watching this, just know that I would like to connect, and I hope you reconsider. Yeah. If you got cold feet, totally understand. Okay. All right. So let me go here. Goblin. Oh boy. Nothing again. Okay. Nothing again. And okay. All right, Goblin. Actually, let's do this. I'm gonna switch, and then yeah, we should be set here. Okay. All right. So, yeah, he had a big crush on Marie. My goodness, like if you saw her and just saw the way she looked into my eyes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen any. Oh, Evan was the last one. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this. Oh, they went full Rangers. Okay, so that was a strat there. Okay. All right. Yeah, man, I'm trying so hard to go for that F time. Yeah. Okay. So the event's about to start, and I realized I had only talked to one woman prior to the event, and I talked to that guy named Guy because I'd seen him before, and he shared this dating app. And he also talked about going to like some speed dating events. And he's like, it's not bad. It's not bad. So, okay. So the event is about to start. And what happens, everybody got in a circle. Everybody got in a circle, and we held, oh, wait, no, sorry. We didn't get in a circle. We all sat down. And what happened was the moderator came in and she did a full-on PowerPoint presentation. I'm like, Lord Almighty, I'm not here for your PowerPoint presentation. She said it's going to be a few minutes. I'm just going to talk about why we're doing this and the importance of it. I'm like, let's just get to round one, please. In my head. And now remember, my assumption was that everybody here had been to an event before, and everybody I talked to, the two people I talked to prior to the event, had been here before, which is important. So I'm like, you don't need to give us the spiel because we already know it. But I was like, okay, let's just go through. And I remember somebody was saying like it felt like a cult. I'm like, the way she was talking, it really did feel like a cult. I'm like, I'm about to walk out here because you are talking to me like there is some pledging that needs to be done. I'm like, that ain't gonna be happening here by me. I will hard pass on that. So basically what she was explaining was that, the purpose of why we're here is because we want to find a partner in a way that didn't seem rushed or forced or icky, which is kind of how I felt about speed dating and going on like apps, stuff like that. So that's how I viewed it. And so once her spiel was over, I was like, okay, we're done here. And oh, thank goodness she stopped talking, because I was like, I'm not, yeah. Yeah, she basically just went on a rant saying that dating is broken, and yeah, we know dating's broken. Everybody's using Tinder, and it sucks, but fine. I get it. Okay, so she's done. We go in. Oh, I called the cult energy lesson. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it was you, Michael. Okay, all right. So now we get up in a circle. And we all hold hands, and one of the things she says is everybody's going to say their name and one word of an expression of how you're feeling this evening at the start of the event. Now, this is something that we've done at both events before. This is not new. This is something that we did at the previous one as well, where we say, okay, my name is Glenn, and my word is, or I'm feeling this. Okay. The first time I went to this, I said, what was the word I used? I'm trying to remember the word I used. I think it was reserved. Yeah, I think reserved was the word that I used. And the second time, the word I used was calm, which was fine, because the first one I was reserved. I did not know what was going to happen at the event, and I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens. The second time I was calm, and I really was, because I felt like the knowledge from the first event was going to carry me to this event, and I said, oh, okay, all right. I really feel like I'm in a good spot to where now I can at least put myself in a position to land a connection with the lady. Any one of these ladies tonight. Not last night, but at the second event. This third one, I have no idea. Like, I was not shaking, but I couldn't stand still. And I was like, am I nervous? I must be like legit nervous. And so when she got to my name, she started near me on my left and went clockwise in the circle. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So I have time to think about it. And she said, okay, so your name? Okay, my name is Glenn. I'm feeling nervous. And that got a like, mild laughs from, because I mean, nobody wants to admit they're nervous, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm nervous, man. Like, even though I've been here twice, but this is a different format. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. Because this is different than the first two that I went to. So we're all done, and the moderator says, okay, so now we're going to hold hands, and we're going to close our eyes and do like a meditative session for it was like a minute. And I said, okay, fine. And then she said, look around you and just take it in. Now, we are going to hand you an envelope. And that envelope is going to have 3 names in it. You are not to look at the names until we tell you to. And I said, okay. All right. So I get my envelope. And right when I got my envelope, she said, okay, now you can go see the first name that you are going to be paired up with. And I said, okay. All right. Let me look. And the name says Caroline. I said, okay, Caroline. All right, Caroline. Because in my head, I was thinking, okay, I didn't remember hearing a Caroline. But maybe it was like the woman said Carol or something. I don't know. or maybe she said Caroline. I'm like, oh man, I wasn't paying attention. Maybe because I was just like focused on me trying to nail, whatever the word I was going to say. I think that might have been it. So yeah. And so the moderator says, okay, go ahead and find the person that you are supposed to be with for this first round. And it took a little bit, and the moderator, and there was like an assistant who said like, oh, do you need help? And I said, yeah, the name is Caroline. And then like 2 seconds later, I found her. She kind of had salt and pepper hair. She had kind of salt and pepper hair. I don't know if she dyed. Well, no. What? I'm trying to think of the name. I'm trying to think of who had similar hair. Oh yes, Miss Harvey. Because she dyes her hair a lot. So I would say, but it was black and silver. Now I don't know if it's dyed, but I thought it was really cool. Yeah, it just reminded me of Miss Harvey. If you don't know who Miss Harvey is, she's a Counter-Strike streamer. And so I said, well, okay, where do you want to sit? And she said, oh, it's like nearby. We can just chill here. I said, okay, all right, no worries. And so, okay, we needed that dark on, thank goodness. Okay, all right. And so, again, this is not me picking my, I was going to say opponent. This is not me picking the lady I want to pair up with for the round. These were predetermined based on the survey and the video that I sent over. And so that's the key. That's the key. Hello to J Nick on YouTube. How's it going? Is this game mode based on luck of the card, or does it really take skill? It really takes skill. Yeah. There's some luck, but I would say it's more like if you understand exactly what the game is giving you, you're going to put yourself in a position to win games. Yeah. So the first round starts, and what the moderator does is it's the same as all the events I had been to previously, where there is an icebreaker question followed by what they call a somatic exercise. Okay. And so I had prepared. I know, like a lot of you were saying, like, okay, you got to have an icebreaker. I was like, I can't have an icebreaker because they provide the question. I just have to be prepared as possible to think about an event that I can mold into an answer. And usually the ones that I've talked about before are moving to LA, which is true, and not throwing away my career, but what do you call it? But basically giving up my dream career in order to move to LA, get into tech, and do all that stuff. Hello to Yup on YouTube. How's it going? Yo, what's up? So I had those talking points. I just needed to know where the question was going to go so I could mold it into that answer. Hello to Llama Slayer. What rank are you? I'm at 3,000 trophies. Or 3,100? Yeah, 3,100. Yeah. What on leaderboard? I have no idea. It's not top 10,000. Yeah. So, okay. So, the first icebreaker that the moderator said, she said, okay, this is going to be question number 1. What is an element of your life? What is an element of your life that you are struggling with right now? And what is an element of your life that you're happy you're making progress on? And I said, because I needed just like a couple seconds to think about it. And then the moderator says, okay, this is important. And the moderator says, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the ladies go first, and they're gonna have 45 seconds. Oh no, they're gonna have a minute to give their answer to the guys. And then Oh, wait. Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine. Um, and then after the minute is up, we're gonna switch, and the guys will give their answer to um, the ladies. And I said, okay, all right. So I just kept it in mind. But before I just dropped in and like super quick. I asked her. I said, "Is this your first? I mean, have you been here before? Is this your first time? Because I don't think I've seen you before." And she said, "Oh no, it's my first time." I said, "Oh no." I said, "Oh my gosh, I got paired up with somebody who doesn't know the format, who know the doesn't know the idea." And I said, "Oh no, okay, all right." I had to keep that in mind because I'm like, okay, it could be bad because if she doesn't know, and I might just have to guide her. And I said, but all I said was, okay, don't. It may sound a little bit intimidating, but don't worry about it. Hello to GOG on YouTube. How's it going? What game is this? This is Merge Tactics. This is the game within Clash Royale. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. We're gonna get. Okay, all right. We got something. All right. All right. Let me move these around as I figure out the next part. It's okay. And so, yeah, I'll do this because I actually want the goblins. Okay. All right, it's fine. Okay. So, I was paired up with someone who had not done it before. Remember, when you bought your ticket, they said it is recommended that you attend a level 1 event first before you go to a level 2 event. Because if you don't know the format, you're probably going to be lost. Okay. So, actually, I'll just use Princess. I'll use Princess for now, and then I'll switch. Actually, I need help. I need help with Dark Goblin. Okay. All right. No, I'm not gonna switch. Okay, but I'll wait. So what happened was, okay, she said, here's the icebreaker. Now, okay, ladies, you now have 1 minute to give your answer to the men. Go. And I just turned to Caroline. And the first words that she said out of her mouth were, "Oh, you can go ahead and go first." And I'm like, and in my head, I had to think like super fast. Not of the answer, because I actually knew the answer I was going to say. But it was more of, do I conform her back to the format, or do I say I'll go, and I'll just run with it. Okay. So that is the question. Now, if you're in my shoes, you have to think of this. What would you do? Would you force your partner to stick to the format, or would you just go? And you only have maybe a few seconds, because the thing is, the moderator is like right next to us as we were talking, as we were about to talk. And so my decision was that I just said, okay, so I looked back, and I just answered the question. I repeated the question. And the reason I ran with it, I know everybody's saying run with it. I did run with it. I ended up running with it because I found my answer. And the answer, actually, it was pretty simple. I just said, and I told her this. I said, this is going to sound like the dumbest thing you may ever hear tonight from any one of the men here. But one of the things that I'm very down on myself right now is that I am losing a lot of tournament chess games. And when I mentioned that, because I was like, okay, this is the test. I mean, that's a test, because I said, if I say chess, that could go in like a million different directions. That's the thing. It's not a one size fits all thing. It's like it could go in any anyone in different directions. So I said, I'm really down on myself, in my chess game, my tournament chess game, because I've been losing a lot of tournament chess games. For the last 3.5 months, I've been struggling, and I have not figured out a way to get out of this kind of bad spot that I'm in at the moment. And she just gave me a blank stare. And I said, okay, I just have to keep going. I just have to keep going. So I knew, because usually, here's the craziest thing. When I've talked to women about chess, it's either that is the coolest thing ever or shut the fuck up. It's literally, it cannot be any other way. It is literally, that is so cool or shut the fuck up. I have no idea what you're talking about. And she gave me that look of, oh my gosh, I'm paired up with the nerd. And I was like, okay. And then it's funny because I had to give the second part of the question. And so I said, and remember, I only have a minute, but I'll get back to that in a second. And I said, well, okay, but one of the things I'm very happy that I'm making progress on is my YouTube channel. And she just looks at it, she just gives another she gives the most what the fuck look. And I'm like at this point I just like I couldn't think of anything. I just said, you know what? Because what if I just say, oh, my career, yes, I'm almost at the point of making 6 figures. So that, okay, hold on. I actually got to turn on the fan here. Here, 1 second. Okay. All right. Open up the window here. All right. Okay, it's getting hot in her. Okay. So she gave me this look, and I'm like, oh no. Well, I'm like, whatever. I didn't care because it's like, if you're not going to give me anything to work with, is this 2 electric? Yeah, okay. If you're not going to give me anything to work with in terms of vibes or anything, then I'm just going to go. I'm just going to answer the question. And so she said, oh, what game do you, what's your YouTube channel about? And I said, I play this really stupid game called Clash Royale. And she said, oh, and okay, and this was the part that because remember, it was ladies go first, okay, but then she said, oh, you can go. Okay. And so she said, that's interesting. My kids my kids have talked about that game before. And I said, oh, okay, they probably play it. And I didn't even think about it. I just said, oh, your kids probably play it. That's cool. That's cool. And then I realized, like, I had been talking for like the last 2 minutes. And I said, wait a minute. Wait. She has to give me an answer. Like, I've been talking. And I was like, oh, wait. I'm like, oh, so what about you? I just said, oh, so what about you? And she was hesitant. And I think it's because the question was leading with, what is the most challenging thing you're dealing with right now? How are you trying to get over it? And I think she was so focused on that she didn't want to give the answer that she ended up giving, which was, she said, I'm dealing with a very tough custody battle right now because my ex wants my 2 kids. And right when she said that, the moderator said, okay, it's time. But the moderator wasn't actually listening to it. She was walking back from kind of the back end of the venue. So she had no idea, like, she wasn't like, oh, let me listen to this. Okay, I'm going to cut them off. No, it was just more of like, it just happened to line up. So that was the thing. It just happened to line up where, ooh, go get him. Actually, Dark Dragon can win this, right? Oh my gosh, what a legend. So she never said, the thing is, she never said what a positive was. because now I understood. Oh, she was just so scared to say that negative event that was consuming her, because she didn't know how I would, I guess, how I would take it. Which is like, I mean, I'm like, okay, you have kids, fine. If you're in a custody battle, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. But obviously, yeah, I hope you get through it. Because yeah, if you have, that's always a test. If you have kids and you're at a singles event, okay, like how's the other person gonna deal? So yeah. Yes, tell her that girls like money. I mean, jeez. That was one of the things the moderator brought up during her PowerPoint. I'm like, she's like, yeah, women are here because they're looking. Most women are looking for men with money, and men are looking for younger women. I'm like, okay, thank you for the generalization, but okay, yes. And so time was up, and the moderator said, okay, so now we've had our 2 minutes of discussion. The women shared their thoughts, and the men shared their thoughts. And so now the next part of the event, or the next part of the discussion is you're supposed to give a compliment on what you heard. And I'm like, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, I didn't hear anything other than this lady's in a custody battle. I'm like, what? And it was supposed to be, again, it was supposed to be women go first, but then she said, oh, you can go ahead and go first. I'm like, but I didn't hear anything. I'm like, well, I just said, you know what? I know you're in a really rough situation, and I know it's pretty tough for you, but you'll have that confidence that you'll be able to get past it. Yeah. And she said, thank you. And then it was very tough for her to give an answer to my question. And in fact, I don't even remember what, because she just skirted the fact, like, she didn't even pay attention to the chess part, the YouTube part. She just basically said, yeah, I know it's really tough that I'm having to deal with it, but I'm hoping that everything gets resolved. And like, no compliment or nothing. That was it. It was just, see, this was the thing. This was the problem. I was like, I got paired up with somebody who doesn't know the format, and they just basically they blew it off like this was a speed dating event that just happened to have touchy-feely stuff. I think that's what this lady expected. And so we get to the first part of the somatic part of the exercise of the round, where it was the staring contest. I said, oh, okay, thank goodness. All right. And I'm like, staring contest, easy. Hello to, I guess your name's, you're from the CIS region, but thank you for stopping by. Hello to Evan. What's going on, dude? I'm just telling my story. Wait, what? Okay, some random dude. Hello to Ronald on YouTube. I was going, how old is this guy? I'm almost 50. Trying here. Okay. So, it was a staring contest. Now, I've talked about this before. The staring contest is 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Not a problem. Except that halfway through this, because what I did last time is I just envisioned a chessboard. I was playing chess in my mind. I was not looking at the lady. I was looking at the lady, but I was envisioning a chessboard instead of her, and I was just playing a game. And so that's what I did, except that I started getting a scratch on my throat about halfway through it. I said, I have to cough. I legit have to cough. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I have to hold it in. And then I'm like, because now I wasn't even thinking about the chessboard. I'm just thinking like, oh, okay, please don't cough. I'm like, just don't cough, don't cough, don't cough. Don't look around. Or don't turn around, because you have to look. Just don't do anything. And then once the music's over, I just and and I and I just apologized. I said, I'm sorry. I was holding it in for like the last minute. And so and so she said, and so the moderator said, okay, now you have to share your feelings. And I said, it was fine. And she's like, oh yeah, it was okay. I think she was just thinking like, to be honest, to be more honest than I normally am, I think she got paired up and was thinking like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have a chance right away. And that's, yeah. And when it was me, I think she said like, oh, okay, maybe this is not, like, don't show your cards to this person. When in reality, like what I did was basically just kind of use that as practice for the next 3 rounds. Solid swipe left. Oh yeah, this was like a take a stylus pen and swipe type of swipe. Yeah, that's how I would view it. Yeah, the hardest of swipes. So yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate because I was like, oh wait, actually let's go here. So I just used it as practice. That was the main thing. Yeah, and yeah, I'll just leave it. Let's leave it. Okay, but yeah, let's 1v1. Well, I can't 1v1 in merge tactics. So just throw the phone left. Hey, you know what? That would have been the same thing because yeah, this lady was just, I could already tell, not my type, and she was just looking for hot dude who could probably take care of her kids. Yeah, and get lucky. That was it. So, all right. So the round's over, and okay, where are we going here? Okay, let's do this. All right. Yeah, I'll sell you back. So let's do this. Okay, for now. Probably better. Yeah. Okay. Actually, no. Okay, we'll do it. Okay, fine. So round 2. Hello to Rick on YouTube. How's it going? How were the other girls? I'm about to get to the next one. They said, go ahead and look in your envelope and look at the next lady or the next person that you are to be paired up with. And I looked and it said round 2, Betsy. And I said, okay. Now, Betsy, I know for sure I did not hear her name. And I said, oh, okay, I did not hear Betsy. I'm like, okay, all right. And they said, okay, the men have to go find the woman. I'm like, oh boy. Okay. I said, okay. I just asked one of the moderators, I said, I need help. This is Betsy. And she was sitting down like next to me. She said, oh, hi, I'm right here. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I said, oh, hi, my name is Glenn, and this is great. It's great to meet you. And she was beautiful. I could tell she's probably the same age as me. And she was beautiful. Like, I couldn't believe it. But there was just something like I couldn't. It wasn't now. I say this that the bar is not Marie, but it was like Marie in the same vein as any other, like Evan or any other woman I've been with. I could just tell there's this thing that just connects immediately. And here, I was like, wow, you're beautiful, but there's nothing there that enhanced it. It was just, oh, okay. I got paired up with a beautiful lady. Let's go. And it's not the first lady. Thank goodness. Okay. Hello to Dave. Hello to Char on YouTube. How's it going? Did Marie reject it? Now, now, I've had debates about this where you have to get an actual no for a rejection, but the fact that she didn't say yes is a no in my opinion. Yeah. Thanks for calling me beautiful. Okay, so round 2. And I told Betsy, I said, how was the first round for you? And she said, oh, it was very interesting. I thought uh, I thought um, I thought it went well for me. I said, oh, okay, yeah, it's great. And she said, how was it for you? I said, I mean, it was okay. Um, it was okay. I kind of had a hard carry. I kind of had a hard carry it, the conversation, but I mean, it's totally fine. I think we're all nervous. And she said, yeah, I'm nervous because it's my first time here. And I was like, are you kidding me? I got paired up again with someone who has just been here for the first time again. I'm like, what's happening here? Like, what is this? Oh, come on, Dark Almond. Win this. Oh, let's go. Okay. Little hard rejection from Marie. It wasn't a hard rejection, but it was just more of like, I mean, I talked about it. She said, oh, are you going to be at the next one? Oh, that's right. She said, are you going to be at the next one? I said, maybe. Like, come on. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten hard rejected before. That's kind of like the land the plane, uh, the land the plane rejection. Yeah. Okay, but anyways, I could not believe that again. I got paired up with a lady who had not been to one of these events before. When the whole thing, when you bought your ticket, it said it is advised that you go to a level 1 event before you attend this one. And I said, oh, this is gonna be something else. This is gonna be something else. But I said, okay, who knows? Who knows? So, um, so round 2 starts, and the icebreaker. Hold on, actually, let me get a drink here. So round 2, and I'm trying to remember the exact question, but it was something along the lines of what did I? Oh, well, I'm trying to remember the answer I actually gave, then I can remember the question. Oh, it was. Oh, yeah, yeah. It was something like, "What did you learn from your last relationship?" Yeah, because I did talk about Evan. Yeah, I remember this. I remember this. Okay. Yeah, it was something like, "What did you learn from your last relationship that you carried on to this day?" Yeah, I remember that. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah. Now I remember. Okay, which was, for me, the answer was, as much as Evan loved me and understood my situation, she always said that you need to be doing new stuff, different stuff. You need to get out of your comfort zone and just try new things. Go back to school, try different activities. If you feel you're stuck, just do different stuff, and just oh come on, just do different stuff. And that's what I told Betsy. I said, yeah, my last relationship, one of the things that I learned from that lady at this time was that I needed to get out of my comfort zone. I was lost. I didn't know what to do, even though I was with her, and she said, just go do stuff. Go back to school. Um, do different activities. Um, just try different things. And I kept, and I did. I have kept that thought in my mind. Obviously, it's Evan. But I did keep that in mind as uh, I moved on in life, and that's totally fine. I mean, that is the thing. And and I said, okay, so what about you, Betsy? And she said, one of the things I learned from my last relationship a few months ago, that was key. I was like, a few months ago, was that uh, you have to deal with conflict. You cannot avoid conflict in a relationship. And I thought that was interesting because she said if you're not dealing with conflict, then um, the relationship can go bad pretty fast. And in her last relationship, which was just a couple months ago, the guy just didn't want to deal with conflict. If there was friction, he would do his best to avoid it at all costs instead of saying, okay, I understand there's friction. Let's talk through it. Let's deal with it. And she broke off the relationship because of that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because I felt that way with Evan only a couple times when I was in that relationship a long time ago. I did not want to say, I did not want to say how long ago it was. You know, because like I said, oh yeah, 21 years ago, I was in my last relationship with a lady, and that could be the instant like game over type of thing. So I held that in, and so I held that in, and I just okay, all right, fine. I won't say it, but I'll make a mention of it. Totally fine. And then as we're as the round's over, and the moderator says, okay, now you got to give a compliment to each other. And ladies go first. I said, okay, all right. Now I have to think about like what I'm going to say to her. I'll just say, oh, thank you for, because usually I just regurgitate what they say. It's which is an accepted a form of an answer. And the moderator even says that. She says, you can just regurgitate what they say, and it's an acceptable form of an answer. And I said, okay, all right, I can just do that. So she says, it's ladies first. And the moderator says, okay, ladies, go ahead and give the men a compliment. And Betsy straight up says, before we go any further, Glenn, I just want to let you know that you have one of the most amazing smiles that I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, what? I was like, I was just stutter. I was stuttering on my mind. I was like, oh, thank you. I'm like, and she said, I just had to tell you that first before we get to the part where she said, oh yeah, it's great that you learned from your past relationship to go go explore, go try different things when you felt like you were stuck. And I said, oh, thank you. And I'm just in my head, I'm like, oh my goodness, she gave me that compliment. Holy shit. I'm like, okay. And so I told her like, thank you for talking about thank you for complimenting me. I said, thank you for talking about, the tension, because I realized that that's something I have to eventually experience if I, end up finding somebody. Yeah. I was like, hopefully you. Hopefully you. We'll see. Yeah. So, okay, I'll sell back. I'll sell back on the machine. Actually, let's do this. All right. So we get to the somatic part, and what happened? Okay, so this is the format of the somatic exercise. You and your partner stand up and are pretty much like, let's say, 6 feet away, 6 feet from each other, and that's fine. I mean, you're like 6 feet from each other. And the idea is to get into a breathing exercise to where at some point you're synchronized in your breathing with your partner. Which I thought, oh, this is going to be very hard because first I'm blind and the lights are dim and there's no indicator on her clothes that it's moving. That's which I was like trying, because I'm looking for like her collar. She was wearing like a low collar like blouse. I'm like, oh, man. Okay. I'm like, I have to look somewhere that moves. So you know that the breathing's happening. She could just look at my stomach or whatever. And that's totally fine. So that's what I was looking. I was looking for any indicator. And I was like, I can't find an indicator. But I'm gonna keep trying. And then I noticed that her blouse would just kind of crinkle a little bit. I'm like, okay, found it. Okay. And then I just started matching. So this is the idea. of the thing that the moderator said. You're going to you're trying to line up your breathing, and then once you're synced up, you're going to take a small step forward, and then you're going to continue the exercise. So okay, all right, makes sense. And then you're going to keep trying to synchronize your breathing together. I said, okay, all right, understood. I'm trying my best. And then after another round, a moment of that, the moderator said, okay, now you're going to take another step closer. I said, oh my gosh, we're like, yeah, they're literally like almost like, it's, you basically, I would say, yeah, pretty much like very, very, very close to each other at this point. like you're almost touching. Like you're just, it's like a stare down. Yeah, but yeah, you're just that close. So that's the thing. Load the arm on YouTube was going. So we're that close to each other, and then the moderator says, "Okay, now you are gonna put your right hand up, and you're gonna put your hand on their chest." So her hand is on my chest, and my hand is on her chest, and we take the other hand that we have, and we hold against our own chest, if that makes sense. So you're holding her hand on your chest, and she's holding your hand on her chest. That is the idea. And so now there's no question about syncing up the breathing, because we're literally like, we can just feel each other at this point. So it's like it's way easier to do it. It's way easier to do it. And so yeah, that's what I was like, okay, it's actually fine. It makes sense. Okay, so the thing about it was that when we got to that point where we were now touching each other's chest, the moderator said to close our eyes. And she said to take in the moment and understand, kind of what is the breathing, your hand on their chest, kind of everything that you're feeling. I'm like, okay. And in my head, like, part of me is like, okay, don't fuck this up. But at the same time, it's like, okay, this is kind of not like, it's kind of weird, because at that point, and this is what, when they send a survey out, I'm going to mention this too. I thought at that point, really, we should have our eyes open, because we're just making like direct contact, like literally an inch away from each other. We should be like literally death staring each other into oblivion. But we had our eyes closed, because we're supposed to feel the moment and not, instead of kind of observe the moment. We're supposed to feel the moment. I'm like, oh, I get it, but I was not a fan of it. I thought it took away by closing the eyes. Now we opened our eyes and then slowly started to back away, and that time was up, and they said, okay, now you can share your feelings on what the moment was like with your partner. I said, oh, that was amazing. I had this feeling that I hadn't experienced in a while, and I just thought it was great but that was nice to say. But in my mind, I was like, oh man, it could have been way better, because like when I did that, when I did that part. Well, actually, I did that part with Marie when we touched each other's chest, and in that time, we literally locked eyes, and I talked about it. We had locked eyes, and I'm like, I have to make sure that I actually talk to this lady beyond this exercise. But when it was this, our eyes were closed. Actually, I'll just go here. Our eyes were closed, so that took away from the moment, and I thought, oh man, I'm not sure I'm not sure there's anything. Because I couldn't feel, like, I could not, I thought, I just saying it was amazing to just be nice, but I could not feel anything. Like, I was really, really really trying to get something out of that moment. And it's like, I can't. I'm like, oh man, well, that's a bummer. And so I said, I said, well, it was great to be paired up with you, and I hope everything, I hope I hope it goes well the rest of the night for you. She said, yeah, I hope it goes well for you too, So yeah. Hello to Mahesh on YouTube. How's it going? So the moderator says, okay, the round's over. You may now look at your cards for the next person that you're supposed to be paired up with. And I looked, and her name was Jennifer. And I remember I said there was a lady named Jenny, and I'm hoping that's the same lady, because if it is, then I know for sure she was at the previous one. And I'm like, okay, thank goodness. But I'm hoping that was the same Jenny. That Jenny was the same Jennifer. And she starts walking toward me, and she says, "Are you Glenn?" I said, "Yes, I'm Jennifer." I said, "Thank you, thank you. It's so good to meet you." And the first thing I told her, I said, "I think I saw you at the last one." She said, "Yeah, I was at the last one." And I was like, "Yeah, oh my gosh!" I was like, "Thank God, please, thank you, Lord." I said, "Okay." How has the event been for you? And she says, "Oh, it's been okay." I said, "How's it been for you?" I've been like, it's so far it's been okay." I hate using the word good, but in this case, it was like, because good usually means like, please don't talk to me, like gosh, but it was pretty. So far, I'm like, I don't need to go for two. I'm just not even. Yeah, this is not going well at all. Like this is supposed to be a higher. This is supposed to be a higher level event, and yet I've been paired up with two. Kind of one, I didn't feel anything, and one just kind of just blew the whole thing off. So I was getting really bummed at this point. But I said, okay, I'm just gonna keep going through it, and okay, well, maybe this Jenny will end up being something. And I'm like, okay, all right, hopefully, had to take a drink there. So hopefully, this ends up being something. So, and let me tell you, of the three women so far, I say so far because you're going to know what's going to happen in a moment. Jenny was absolutely beautiful, and that's what because I'll tell you this and this is kind of interesting, because I had seen her at the last event that I went to, and during one of the rounds, like in between one of the rounds, I saw her, and I was like, well, I wonder if she would be interested in getting paired up. And I'm hoping that maybe I get a chance. And then I saw Marie, and I said, oh, I don't know who the hell. And my eyes just focused on her, and I said, okay, well, nope, I'm getting paired up with you. Because I have no idea what happened, but yeah, you're somebody. So Jenny was absolutely, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. And I would say she probably was my age. Okay, so round 3, the icebreaker question. The icebreaker question was, what is the one positive and negative thing that you have learned from your parents that you keep in mind to this day? And we both laughed because we just had like easy, like we immediately just came up with answers. And I said, um, or yeah, it was like one of the things you learn from your parents that you still do to this day, and the other element to it was what is one of the traits that you're trying to shake off. And I said, and I said, for me, it was determination and never giving up and always trying to figure out a way was the one thing that I always took from my parents, which is true. Like my dad, my mom to this day, they said, you can get through whatever shit that you're dealing with. You can. You just have to fight through it. And don't give up. Be determined. And I always think about that. That's why that's why I have a house. That's why I have a. Thankfully, I am where I am today. And then the trait that I said that I was getting rid of was that I had to live this structured life that they believed in, which is, you go to school, you go to college, you get married at 21, then you go find, you get a high-paying job, and you live your life, and then you go retire, and that's how you do things. When I've never felt that way, or I felt that way a little bit early on in my childhood, and then it kind of everything went out the door. So yeah, I just say. And then for her, it was more of it was very similar to my answer, where it was, you don't have to live a structured life. You can, oh, come on, Spirit Goldman. You don't have to live this structured life of get married, have kids at a certain time frame. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. I thought it was fascinating. Oh, okay. Because the funny part was that in some of these, it takes a little bit to come up with the answer. But in this one, we already knew the answer we were going to give each other before it started, which I thought was funny. So that was the exorcist. Now, the somatic part. This, I thought, I don't know. I think the moderator had something in mind when she thought of this idea. But in my opinion, it didn't work. And I will explain. Okay, so what I did, when I went to the event, I wore a polo shirt. I think I talked about. I wore a black polo shirt, which was intended. Oh, come on, get rid of it. Oh, jeez. All right. It was a black polo shirt. Now Jenny was wearing a. She was wearing a kind of like a, not corduroy sweater, but it was kind of, it had this different kind of, it's not wool, it's like a different kind of fabric, a sweater. And her arms were covered. Now my forearms were bare because I was wearing a polo shirt. That's important for the exercise. Basically what the moderator said is, the lady goes first. They're going to take their fingertips and they're going to caress your arms as they slowly go up and down from your shoulders from your collarbone to your shoulders down to your wrist. And you just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, but you're kind of doing it like this very feely type of, thing. I would almost say it is tickling. It is very close to tickling. I would say that's how I would put it. If you tickle somebody, you probably would be doing the same motions. So, because in my head I'm like, wait, we're just tickling each other. This is what it sounds like. I'm like, this is what it sounds like. We're tickling each other. And so. I'm like, what? Now, here's the other thing too. The moderator. She said, okay, as the lady is doing this, the men close your eyes and just the consume the feel that is happening um, as your partner is basically caressing your arms up and down. And I'm like, this lady is just basically giving me an arm rub, and my arms are hairy. My arms are hairy, and I'm like, wait, she's gotta. I mean, I'm like, what? This is this is this is this is kind of. If she gets grossed out because I have hairy arms, I'm like, this is over. And I'm not even looking at. I have to have my eyes closed too at the same time. I'm like, oh man, this is not great. Like, I'm already thinking, oh, this is not great. This is not great. Oh shoot. Okay, who am I getting rid of? You. Okay. So Jenny does the thing, and and I have my eyes closed the whole time, and then we switch. And then I'm doing the same thing. Like, I'm just kind of using my fingertips to rub her arms and then her shoulder blades, or her shoulders, and then her collarbone, and then back and forth and back and forth. But I'm not touching her skin. It's her sweater. Like, that is the thing. And that was kind of the down part about this. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, oh, okay. All right, fine. So, I said, this is, she's feeling my skin. I'm not feeling her skin. And I was like, this, and we're not even looking at each other because one of us has to have our eyes closed. The other is going through the motion. I'm like, this is not fantastic here. I'm like, this is kind of bad. I'm like, my gosh. Hello to Muhammad. You lost because you're talking too much. Come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. All right. I'm trying to tell a story here. If you care about it, go watch somebody else. All right. I'm trying to tell a story. And if you're mad, I don't care. Anyways. So the exercise is done. And the moderator says, okay, now go ahead and go ahead and express your thoughts to your partner. And I tell you, Jenny, like I said, she's beautiful. And I wanted to tell her, damn, you have a really good smile too. And I'm like, and I just said, it was so, I mean, it was an experience. And because I was just like, I thought there was going to be more to it, and there ended up being none. Like, I really didn't get anything out of that experience. Like, I really didn't. But the way Jenny and I connected, I thought, okay, maybe there's, maybe I can like think about, something else here. Okay, we'll switch. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, we'll do that. All right, we got a 4. So I was hoping that I would get another chance to talk to Jenny, maybe later on. Okay, so round 3 done. And so the moderator says, okay, now we're gonna walk. We're going to get everybody, we're going to start walking around in a circle. Go ahead and stretch, put your arms up. This is something that we've done before. I've experienced before, totally fine. Hello, Chance on YouTube, how's it going? So, she said, now, there are no more names in your envelope. Because now, this is what we're going to call the wild card round. In this round, you get to pick anybody of your choosing for your next pairing. I said, oh, okay. I said, okay, but I didn't know. I guess the thing is, I didn't know who to I didn't know if there was anybody on the list because all in my head was, oh, they just picked the the partners, and so I'm thinking like, oh no, I don't have a person in mind. I am I think I'm kind of screwed here because they said, okay, go ahead and start looking for a partner. I'm like, oh boy, I don't know, I need to look for somebody. And slowly, like everybody starts getting paired up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be last. I'm gonna be last. Now there's not a problem because it's 50-50. It's 50-50 men and women. So there will be one left if I don't find. And I just said, okay, I just have to find a woman, and whoever get paired with, that's fine. I don't care. And I just turned. I saw one woman. I just said, do you want to get paired up? And she said. And she looked at me, and she said, "Oh, sure." And just like that, she said, "Oh, sure." And she goes, I say, "Okay, where do you want to sit?" And she said, we just sit anywhere." Just kind of like matter of factly. She had a water in her hand. I'm like, "Oh man, okay." And then when it comes to realization that I actually look at her, I'm like, oh boy. She wasn't the prettiest woman, but I was like, oh boy, I don't. I mean, I just didn't want to get embarrassed by the part of being Golden Knight's gonna have. Oh my gosh, Golden Knight's gonna win this. And he won this? What a. That's so bad. Okay. Well, calling her ugly. Okay. I am. Look, the other three women, I would say, were okay. This is how I would put it. The other three women that I got paired up with were more beautiful. That's how I would put it. She was wearing just kind of like the same kind of sweater that Jenny was wearing, but it was more. It was tan. She was wearing. It's like it was just kind of as if she was there. I mean, it. She didn't dress up for the event. I'll say that. I'll say that much. She didn't dress up for the event. Jeez. Okay. But yeah, that's what I was. That's what I would say at the very least. And so, we sit down. I say, "How's it been for you tonight?" And she says, "Oh, it's been okay." And she didn't even ask. She didn't ask me like how it was. I said, "Oh, okay." And I just kind of, there was like a pause. There was like a moment of silence, and I was just like, "It's been okay for me." That's what I would say. And in my head, I'm like, I didn't do. Oh my gosh, this like I didn't do the work because the whole point, and the reason I bring this up is because remember when I said that when you got into the venue, you had time to talk to anybody there, and I only talked to one woman. And I talked to one guy, and his name was Guy, right? Okay? I mentioned that. Well, in reality, that is the moment that you had to start basically scouting out who you wanted for that last round. And I didn't do it because I didn't think it was going to be anything. And guess what? Jenny, who I thought, okay, let me see if I can get paired up with her, went to Guy. And I was hoping like, okay, maybe I'll just get paired. And I just saw her smile as she walked to Guy, and she said, and I could hear it. She said, "Hey, do you want to get paired?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, oh man, oh, it's just, oh, this is, man. Hello to that anime lover, and just about to go. I was like, oh man, this is bum. I'm bummed out. But that's okay. So, still a chance. I mean, who knows? But it was looking pretty bad. And so I'm trying to remember the last question. The last question. What was the last question? The reason I'm. Oh, yeah, it was something like, what was the toughest decision you had to make in your person, or like, what was a tough decision you had to make in your personal life, and what'd you learn from it? And I just said moving, moving back to LA, which I thought was, yeah. I said, okay, fine, I'll just use that as a thing, and um, yeah, I just used that, and I said, okay, fine. And she gave some. She just. Actually, I don't even remember what the answer was because it was just so nondescript. Because I asked her, I said, "Is this your first time here?" And she said, "Yeah, it's my first time here." And I said, "Oh my gosh!" The whole thing, the whole event was supposed to be for people who had been through this before to meet other people who had been through this before and get paired. And I got paired 3 times with women who had not attended this event before. And so they in their minds, I'm guessing they are believing that this is some sort of like speed dating with touchy feely stuff, and that's not really the case. And I'm like, oh man, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Um, this is bad. And so that icebreaker round was so damn mediocre. It was so bad that I just said, okay, I know what's coming up. I know what the somatic event is going to be. It's going to be a hug, and I'm like, this is going to suck because I didn't prepare for this. I mean, I didn't prepare to find a lady that I could just say, okay, let me see if there's anything, and then I can just try to land her for the last round, like I did the first 2 times I did this, and that was the bummy part. So so it was time for the hug, and so what happened was it wasn't a hug that we just hugged for 3 minutes or whatever. This one was the lady. No, the guy's gonna go first, and the guy gets to hug the lady, however they want. As long as they have consent, but however they want, as long. Oh, I don't know why I did that. As long as she's cool with it. And you can't lie down. That's it. That was the only thing. You could sit and hug, like how, like a TV show hug, or you could stand up and hug. You could hug from behind. She said, like, you can hug any way you want. You just cannot lie down. That's it. And so you have to tell that to the lady before it starts. And I said, and I just looked at her and I just said, I'm just gonna hug straight up. And I said, you cool with that? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, this is bad, man. This is horrible, man. And so I should also mention that she was about 5'4", and so they said, okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead and hug the lady. I'm bending down. I'm like, my back is hurting. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm like, come on. Now, at this time, too, the lady has her eyes closed as you're hugging. Although, I mean, in reality, it doesn't matter because, it's a hug. You're not really actually looking at the person in the eye. Totally fine. So we hug. It's like a couple minutes, and then it's done. And then now, the moderator says, "Okay, ladies, it's your turn. You get to hug, however you want to hug the man. Just kind of let them know how you're going to." Then you look at Jenny and guys hugging for bro. Oh my gosh, dude! I was so bummed because I was so bummed. I was so bummed about it. I thought, okay, but I just had to. I had to focus on the partner in hand because who knows stuff. Yeah, all that. So I closed my eyes. Now she didn't even say. She didn't even say her name was Jill. Yeah, her name was Jill. She didn't even say how she was gonna hug me. She just asked me, "Are you cool with the hug?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm cool with the hug." And so I closed my eyes, and I didn't know how she was gonna approach me, and she hugged me from the side, from my. So it wasn't a front hug; it was a side hug, kind of like if you're bum rushing somebody from the side and you hug them, or like if like a side tackle, if you're like if you're a running back, you're getting tackled from the side as you're running. Yeah, something like that. Oh, it's chaos. Oh shoot. Okay, all right. Well, okay, I was not paying attention. Okay, all right. So she hugged me from the side. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't expect that. I thought she was just going to do I thought she was just going to do a random hug, and that wasn't going to be it. So yeah. So yeah, that lasted a couple minutes, and then we were supposed to say how it went. I said, oh, it was okay. It was good. I basically just kind of like in my slide tackle is crazy. It's called an awkward friend hug. That's a perfect example. That's a perfect example. So yeah, that was it, and I said, okay. We have to acknowledge the the other person, and then now we all get back into a circle. And then the moderator says, okay, so now that you've gone through this event, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say our name, and we're going to give an expression of how we feel in this very moment now that it's done. And the first thing that went through my mind was pissed as fuck. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, did I get the bad RNG? I got the bad RNG. I got the terrible RNG. Know what I mean? Like, I got terrible RNG. Like, oh my gosh, dude. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. All right. I have no idea where. Okay, we gotta use this. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I got terrible RNG. And I used content. That was my word. Yeah, I just used content. And then the moderator said, okay, do you have another 45 minutes because the venue's going to be open for that long? You can connect with anybody you thought that was worthy of a connection. I said, well, there is absolutely nobody, because Caroline, I didn't see. I think she packed up the moment they said it was over. She packed her bag and bounced. Betsy was talking to a guy who she paired up with in round 4, and they were talking for a while, and I was like, because normally I would just I would go and say oh, how did it go for you, which I've done. I said, how did it go for you, but she was just having a long conversation, and Jenny was still talking to Guy, and I said, all right, I'm out. Let me get my lift, and I need to go home. I just need to go home. I just thanked the moderator, and I said, thank you very much for having us. It was great. Hope to be back for another one soon. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm like, it ain't going to be a level 2. In my opinion, I think a lot of the women who signed up for the event did not fill out the form. They didn't fill out the form, and they didn't fill out the They didn't fill out the form, and they didn't fill out the. Uh, they didn't do the video, and I think they were just hoping that they would get paired up with somebody random based on the questions that they gave. If they even did that. That is the thing. Like, I think a lot of the women skipped it. I think a lot of the people skipped it. And, like we talked about it the other day before the event. I said I filled out the form. I gave reasonings for my answers. And, yeah. And I think, honestly, for many of them, it was a shot in the dark. The moderators, they were given, I would say a lot of them, they were given nothing to work with. And I was like, I put real thought into the questions. And here, the other thing too, which I'm going to mention to them when they send out the feedback form. I was going to tell them that, hey, that you didn't ask us to bring up the survey at any point during the event. So I don't know, like, if you said that if we had an interest, in a certain thing in the survey, that wasn't like, what was it? Like one of the questions was, are you interested in kids? Oh, okay. Are you not interested in kids? Scratch that. No, I'm interested in having kids. It's more of, what do you call it? Are you thinking of starting a family? Or are you thinking about open relationships? None of that was brought up during the event. So it was like the survey, not that it didn't mean anything, but it was, I don't know the purpose of it. That was the thing. It's like, I don't know the purpose of of what the survey was supposed to do. Yes, it was supposed to pair me with somebody who had similar likes or ideas, but I mean, unless I brought it up, and I didn't bring it up at any point because I didn't think I thought it was going to be just a thing, but it wasn't mentioned as a thing. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I don't know if the survey was supposed to be worth it. I don't know, because there was no element during the event that said, oh yeah, the survey, this is why the survey was important, because of this. Other than you got paired, and apparently you may have the same things in common. Or, the same answers in common. I don't know. I mean, that was the thing that struck me. I'm going to mention that to the moderators when they send out the survey. Because I thought that was a very important thing that had to be brought up. And I thought that was, it was a bummer that it really, oh, wait, hold on here. It was a bummer that it wasn't it wasn't a thing during the event. I would say there were a couple of takeaways from the event that I had. Okay. The first, they had the same idea as me. The first was that if I were to do this again, I would not do the level 2. I absolutely would not do level 2. Because I really felt like I put my fate into other people to make a decision and it was just bad. It was horrible. It was horrible. Like, but then again, I don't know if they tried their best and everybody else just didn't give information and they had to wing it on making a decision on who to get paired with. But man, I expected a lot more out of the level 2 event, and the level 1 event is actually, in my opinion, way better. Because, not to say that we have more control over what to do, But I thought the level 2 event was going to include much more deeper somatic experiences. Like, I honestly thought like the hug, the hug was supposed to be, it's the big thing. The hug is the big thing in the level 1 event. I thought for level 2, the hug was just like a starter, the appetizer. It's not. And that's why I was kind of bummed out about it, because I was just saying, okay, actually, this is for the game, so yeah. All right, let's see if we can get anything. Probably not. Okay. But yeah, I was really down on how that turned out, just because nothing it was just like another type of event. Yeah, level 2 event seemed to not be worth it. Yeah, I would say. And the thing is, I paid more for the level 2 event, and yeah, it was kind of a bummer, really. It really was. And I don't say this as well because I don't say this because I didn't get a connection. That's not the case. That's not the case. But I was really hoping that I would at least learn a lot more about myself going in. I learned a ton in the first event that I used for the second event, and then in that second event, I thought I applied it. I applied it well enough, and I thought I applied it well enough to the point where I got a connection, and it just didn't happen. And I said, okay, that's fine. The next one, I'm going to apply what I had here, and let's see if a connection happens. But what I learned from the first 2 events, it really felt like I couldn't apply it to this one. And that's the disappointing part about it. Because it was just more of, okay, we're going to parry it and hopefully it works. And that's the part that sucks. Hello to Dalton on YouTube. I was going, what's the best abilities or whatever they're called to focus on maxing? I use goblins and rangers. Yeah. So that was the thing about the event. And yeah, again, I would just say, like, I went home and I said, okay, I'll think about going to the next one, because yeah, I got paired up with 3 women who didn't understand that this is not in reality. And I say this nicely. In reality, this was not for them. It was not meant for them because they had not experienced this before. And so that was the thing. I'm being nice about it because if they knew to just maybe go to one beforehand and then go to this one, I think they would have a wealth of knowledge of, okay, this is what is expected of me. You're not hiding an answer. You're trying to you can fake an answer. Like, this is what I was thinking. Like, Caroline could have just faked an answer, but I think she was not wanting to say anything because she knew that eventually she had to talk about her kids. And is that a turnoff? And it can be a turnoff, but if somebody's not interested, like for me, not to say I can't be picky, but at this moment, I don't know if it's a thing for me or not. So yeah. Yo, Glenn, I'm at 35, which is top 6,000. Oh, okay. All right. So if I get to 3,300, I think we're gonna be okay. Which is we'll see what happens this weekend, and we'll see if I'll push. But yeah. I mean, as far as personal growth, you killed it. Thank you. Thank you. In my opinion, it was a very important lesson in understanding. It was a very important lesson in understanding that if I want to, Um, if I if I want to find somebody, I probably need to take more of the reins to actually make it happen instead of relying on somebody else to provide that chance. That doesn't mean I don't go to these events anymore. I just like, you know, go to the store and just start talking to random women in the produce aisle. No, no. What I mean is, if I were to go to this event again, I would only go to the level one event because in that one, I do have control over who I get to um, get paired up with, and that's what I mean by control over the situation. And I think that's important because um, I think that's important because as we saw here, there were three women who I just didn't believe I had zero chance to be with, and the fourth just happened to have her eyes on somebody else. And and in that situation, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, so and it sucks, but that's fine. So yeah. Solid performance all night. Thank you. You got two people who were not interested. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a bummer, but and that's just how it goes, and that's just something I have to understand. Um, it's just something I have to understand. Uh, that this is it. This is the reality. Yeah. You can only work with what you have, and you presented yourself pretty well. Besides Mitch, the YouTube, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was. That's the thing. I just tried to come up with something. Who knows where it's going to go? You know, maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't. I know now that if there's any lesson, if there is a lesson, I know that I have to have better jumping off points. That one I didn't have. That was not. So YouTube, I know YouTube and well, chess is 50-50. YouTube is a no. It's an absolute no. Chess is 50-50 because that could be a jumping. I mean, chess could be the lady either loves it or they're just like hell no. And I've met a lot of women who are like, oh my gosh, are you a pro player? And there's just some women who are like, yeah, I saw the Queen's Gambit, and yeah, I don't do drugs, so yeah, that's not for me. So yeah, yeah. Okay, good night, Glenn. Sorry I had no luck. Had to be the rest of the stream. Hey, no worries. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is probably gonna be the last game, anyways. Yeah, this will be the last game. So yeah, it's almost 9:50. Jeez. So I did download that app, and I haven't taken a look at it yet in a deep like I haven't signed up or anything, but I read some reviews on it, and I think it's pretty interesting. So we'll see where that goes. I might try it. There's none in my the meetups where they do the thing on Wednesday nights is not in my area. So I'll have to really think about like, okay, do I want to do it because I know I'm having I'm gonna have to make an effort to actually try to go to these things. I'm gonna have to like get a lift and schedule work trips around this thing, to make sure that I can actually do this. So that's just something I have to keep in mind. Yeah. App Story next week. See people go out to the Australian vibe or not for. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do it because I really need to work on this chess project that I've been like barely touching for a little bit here, and I really need to work on it if I want to make it something. So yeah. The next event that they said they're gonna have is November 14, and it's a level 1. So I'm thinking I'll really think about it because I know I'm taking a lot of days off in November because I'm going to see family, and there's a very major chess tournament taking place Thanksgiving weekend. So I need time to actually study for this and get ready. So I don't know if I want to do this again. Yeah. Well, we'll see. November 14th is a good amount of time to reflect. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Because the more I do this, the more I'm just going to keep getting reps. And it's the whole point. This is what I told the mods. I said, the moderators. I said, even if nothing happens, I'm just getting reps. I told my best friend that too. I said, if nothing happens, and I get rejected over and over again, at least I'm just getting back into the flex of it. Just getting back into trying to see if there's dating, because I don't know. I don't know. At the same time, this afternoon, I did look up speed dating in the area. There is one on Tuesday that's near my house. I'm not going to do it. But there's one coming up. I think it was like November 11th. So I said, oh, okay. So maybe I could go for that. Do an actual speed date event, which would be pretty wild. But that one costs $40. So I'm like, I'm gonna spend another $100 and $40 to do this. This is dating costs a lot, man. Whew. Yeah. Well, speed dating seems more advanced conversationally, but I think you could be ready. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I need, like, instead of having 2 jump off points, I probably need like 11, because this one that they paired, not paired, but this one they said was you're gonna get paired up with as many as 12 different people of the opposite sex. I said, oh boy, okay, all right, so 12 different people of the opposite sex. Okay, I'm gonna need like a bunch of different talking points to make sure that I'm ready. So yeah, yeah. So we'll see. And it's almost 10 o'clock. Good Lord. Okay. All right. At least we get to end on the win. Now, I said that if I didn't finish my story by 9:15, I would get 2 gifted. So let me give those gifted. All right. And then whoever got it, congratulations. Oh my gosh. Oh man. All right. Can I? Oh no, it's yeah. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, that'll be it for tonight. And actually, I need to check something before. Yeah, that is going to be it for tonight. Yeah. So the dating event. Oh, did I? Oh, that's right. I put a command in, but I'm going to update it now that I've said the whole thing. Because I didn't want to spoil what I thought of the event, which I thought the event was pretty subpar. But yeah, yeah, yeah. But we live and we learn, and we will figure it out from here. So, okay, it's almost 10. I gotta get to bed. All right. So if you're watching this live, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and please consider subscribing. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much for watching the video. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button. Super thank me if you can, and I will see you for the next stream.